Welcome to this presentation on part of change management. And in this video, we are going to discuss about organizational change, which forms a part of the change management. Today, change is said to be very inevitable, and if change has to be brought in inside the organization, it requires a certain set of a process to be followed and a basic set of conversions also to be taken place, and how are we to bring in this change in the organization is very much important. And here we are going to just look into what is organizational change and how this organizational change can impact the employees in the organization towards the process of change. So here if you see, change is nothing but basically a variation in the common way of doing things. So even a small task which is being performed has its own variations, means it is called as change. Your routine way of performing the task differently is also termed as a change. So here, anything which you want to make changes in the organization in part of its process, strategies, or procedures or technologies, or you want to bring in a new set of culture into the organization, in every place, organization requires the change, and how this change is being brought in is part of a study. And here, if you see, the nature of organizational change is always impacted by two different factors, or you can say it as two different forces. One is external force, another one is internal force. Generally, the external force gives an impact on the internal force, and therefore, it is forced to bring in the change inside the organization. So, this diagram clearly gives you an idea how does the external force forces the internal part to make the change to be brought in. And in this part of the external force and internal force, you have two different changes which takes place. One is called as reactive change, another one is called as planned change. So reactive change is nothing but suddenly something you require to make a change in the organization. So presently we had the situation of COVID, where this COVID is a new situation, a new set of crisis, where all the organizations starting from small to big had to make in certain changes inside the organization for its functioning. And such kind of changes we call it as reactive changes. Whereas the planned change is nothing but the organization wants to go for a strategic, or it wants to go for a technical based change to be technology based change to be brought inside the organization. Here we go for a planned change. So we form a committee, we plan how the change has to take place, and therefore we bring in the change inside the organization. And such kind of change is called as planned change. So generally, the nature of organizational change takes place with these factors: external forces, internal forces, reactive, and planned one. Okay. So here if we want to see few of the external forces of change which forces us to uh, go for a creation of change inside the organization, we have few factors listed here. So let us see, the external forces are said to be education, society, economic, technology, political, and cultural. So, as the education keeps developing, as technology keeps improving, as the societal need and want and demand changes, and the culture of the people changes automatically, all this also forces a change inside the organization. In a similar way, you have the internal forces also. So, internal forces are nothing but the workers, the technology, the objectives, and the politics which is being played inside the organization again leads to part of change inside the organization. As we have already seen, most of the change is from external force which molds the internal force of change. So these are few factors which are being shown here. And next one is, there are basically three types of changes. One is technology, structural, human, and these are broadly classified into the basis of their functions. So technology based change is nothing but if you want to bring down a new technology which is being updated into your organization, you call it as technology based changes. To make a change in the design or the development process of the organization you call them as to be your division part. Okay, might be in the hierarchy or in a part of a division, that is called as structural changes. And next one is said to be the human changes, is nothing but the change in the top level cadres or might be the low level cadres also. So here if you see, these are broad three classifications of organizational change. Change are again can happen parallelly along with the old one as well as joining with the new one, or sometimes you can fully remove the old process and introduce a new process into the change activity. Okay, next one, thank you. Thank you for viewing this video. I hope so I have given a brief outline about what is change and how is organizational change being molded into the part of the individuals as well as employees in the organization. Thank you. Thank you for watching.